Welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. If you have, my intention is unity and oneness. I want to just drop in with the guides. This is going to be a little bit of an energetic update for 2026. I'm probably going to do a few of them, maybe for January. We'll just kind of see what the guides have to share. I'm just going to drop into my heart space, expand my energy and frequency out, expand my consciousness out, and see what the guides have to share. So I'm going to invite everybody to take a deep breath in. I'm a little sniffly. Sorry. Too much sugar for the holiday. Anybody else uh, eat too many cookies? Hmm. And so we greet you now as a frequency of higher consciousness. And yet, as we speak, this frequency of higher consciousness is coming through the energy in the body of the being, the we, that is me, that is interpreting this message and this signal. So, therefore, there is no separation, there is only interpretation. There is only expansion and communication that brings a heightened brain and cellular activity that allows for the heightened brain and cellular activity to be met, to be matched, to be held, to be in coherence. And from this coherent state, a new message can be birthed, brought through, initiated, or tuned into, for it is already a currency, if you will, that already moves through you. It moves through in great abundance. And yet, many have been feeling a lack for so long that their own resource, their own ability to connect into this resource, their own ability to feel into the frequency that is their birthright has been, I'm seeing people, it's like slips through their fingers. Like they're not really sure how to tune in, how to get the answers, how to receive the signals from the universe, we'll just say. It does not have to come through in this way, for this way in communication in which this particular channel, this particular frequency, this particular stream of motivation, if you will, of information comes through, is the birthright of this particular human, me. Where I choose in this now moment to create in a frequency of poetic determination. I like to share in this way, for it allows for a play to continue that is a run on, if you will. It allows us to run through a program of frequencies and energies and play with the words or linguistics that match much of the frequency or energy. And the more we rhyme, the more we create a poetic display, the easier it is to convey these messages, for it shifts the energy and the frequency, and not only the communicator, but that whom or those which are being communicated to, with, and through. For again, this energy moves through each and every one of you. As you listen, as you tune in, as you open your antennae, if you will, it increases, I'm hearing the dispatch, the ability for the energy to be moved in such a way that it moves through and it moves you, is part of what we wish to do. So I'm being called just to play with this because I've been doing this for years. And when I say the word we, it isn't separate. I say we because I tune into, it's a frequency. So it's like bandwidths, it's angels, it's guides, it's future versions of me, it's source frequency, source energy. And there's not really a separation necessarily, although there can be based on what messages come through. So if I were to tune into a little bit more of, let's say, an angelic realm, they're going to communicate in a slightly different bandwidth than potentially some of my shaman brothers and sisters who are getting goosebumps, who are available to us on the other side of the veil, if that's what we wish to call it. So how each and every one of you disassimilates, this is a plain words, the information, and will be based on you. And so we invite you to tune into your own abilities, to tune into how you would like to tap into the void, the space, the resonance that moves through all things. For it is interpreted and perceived in a myriad of ways. It is a mirror in some cases, or a reflection of how it is that we see reality, is how it is we view reality, how it is that we view through our view and our perception in order to tune into that which we are looking at, which we are listening to, which we are feeling into. And the shift that is occurring is palpable. For the energies and frequencies that each and every one of us is moving through has shifted. So, therefore, the reality or the dimensional space or the void, if you will, that holds this dimensional space, that holds the staircase, that holds the levels of awareness, that holds the levels of solids or solidification into matter, we might add. Ooh, that's a play on words. Is shifting. My scalp is like, "Rrr." And so you, in essence, are also shifting. The way in which you interpret the energy with the fluidity that moves through you in your body, in your cerebral spinal fluid, in your heart center, in your blood, in your bones, your cellular makeup, one might say, is also shifting in order to activate, in order to harness this usable energy and frequency that is moving through the earth in an expanded state of conductivity that is available to us now. And so we would invite you to tune into what your new motivations are versus what some of your old ways were. And recognize that things were the way they were, and yet they no longer are moving forward. And so we would invite you to let go of the need to fully understand what is unfolding in, through, and around you at times, and yet be curious about what this means for the future of your life, your lives, and recognize that at an individual basis, each and every person is shifting their reality structure. And so while the entire reality structure is shifting, even the angels are growing and expanding, if you will. Even your ancestors are growing and expanding, for nothing really ever stops. All is in motion. And yet the motion of the ocean, if you will, can be felt in a stronger, more resonant, more coherent way in the stillness that each and every one of us has the ability to play. I'm seeing hit pause and hit play, and then hit pause and listen differently. Okay, and I'm also being shown, if I were to draw this on a whiteboard, sorry, I burp while I'm doing this kind of work. It's a lot of energy. Sometimes I yawn, sometimes I cough. All you energy workers out there know what I'm talking about. So if I were to draw this in a whiteboard, I would be showing you guys the dimension, the staircase. I would be showing how different levels of platonic solids are shifting and adapting to morph and to match how our reality is morphing and adapting. So this is happening as within, so without. So this is happening inside of our bodies. It is happening outside of us as well. And so we're really being called to stabilize the frequencies, as the guides always say, in order to activate, in order to fully play with what's available to us. And the distractions will be many. So now I'm tuning into a slightly different frequency and message, and I might then merge all of this together. For many of you are on your way, and you feel as if you have been lifted up and you are ready to play with all that is. And we would invite you to continue to do so. And yet, all that is not always that which we are seeking to play with in that version of reality that we are moving towards from a timeline perspective. And while we are jumping timelines, if you will, into a time, I've been shown in a previous video, and I'm going to show some synchronicities with other psychics, if you will, channelers. They're talking about a time warp. When I did message several weeks back, I was hearing, let's do the time warp again. So we are jumping timelines and we are shifting, yet we are also merging with realities that have already been preordained, one might say, that each of us has agreed to on a very multidimensional scale or basis. And so there are some realities that are needing to be matched, met, to have their time, if you will, to unwind, to let go. So it's almost like certain people have to go through certain things in order to fully let go of the old reality. This will be uncomfortable for some. It will be difficult for many who have been on this journey to stay patient. And we would invite you to continue to open your hearts, even when you think there is no more that you can handle. We would invite you to know more than what you feel the physical human is capable of handling. I'm being shown a vision of like one of my best friends just gave birth, the lovely sister Candace, and her birthing process was unique to her, but it's also her birthright. The way in which she handled it and the way in which she had this beautiful birthing experience, a lot of things happened, and it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Right now she has this beautiful baby afterwards, and it's almost like what she went through. And for those of you out there who are mothers who have given birth, it's like you go through this incredible birthing process, and it's the biggest thing in your life, especially in that moment. And then the baby is birthed, and you're now moving on to a different experience. And so it's almost like what I'm being shown is we're not realizing from an energetic level that we're birthing right now. We're having this incredible birthing experience. And along with that comes extreme discomfort at times, extreme sometimes disassociation, sometimes feelings of am I going to make it kind of thing. Is everything going to be okay? Knowing that nothing is the same after this. There's so much that's coming through. So I'm just sharing that. And so we will share multiple messages over time about what is unwinding and what we are moving towards. We wish in this particular message to invite you to seek and to feel and to be curious about what you are moving towards, for the future is bright. And even though currently many are in fight or flight, we would invite you who can find the deeper knowingness, the deeper resilience, to open up that band width, to play with that band width. For the more you are able to synchronize and harmonize your frequencies with that particular tune, with that particular identification, play words, you are then able to bring forward that information, that which is encapsulated within that reality structure, within that bandwidth. And that can be great, there can be a greater absorption versus disruption. It creates the ability to absorb more of the incoming frequencies that gift us with a higher vantage point than the lower forms that we have been identifying with for far too long. Some of this is a play on words too. And we are moving right on time. We are moving right along. I'm laughing because that was something that came through with her baby, right on time. That which we think is not occurring as quickly as we would like it to is putting us into resistance. We are being called to let go of the resistance and to focus more on harmonizing and stabilizing rather than and unifying rather than identifying the mistakes. Over identify, I'm hearing over identification, and that's a play on words, with an old structure that needs to be dissolved. For the more we hang on to it, the more residue is baked on, if you will, as we turn up the heat, and the harder it becomes. Yet I'm hearing the harder they fall kind of thing. And so we invite you to stand strong in your own personification. That's all play on words, like in your own person, in your own vision, in your own sauna, the temperature, in your own heat from the heart, from this resonance, I'm hearing residing in your own body. This will give you a jump start on what lies ahead. For if we do not get out of our heads, if we do not get out of our own way, if we continually to weigh down the field with resistance, it will be more challenging. It will be more difficult, and it will be less revealing in some ways about how we are such a strong and resilient force of energy, meaning that which we are seeking will hide from us, for we continue to look at things that we do not want. And so we are being called to continually reset, and reset, moment to moment, to be hyper vigilant, if you will, to be hyper aware versus hyper. And this is a play on words. So I'm hearing don't believe the hype, recognize what people are trying to get us hyped up about, but come into hyperdrive, the true multidimensional hyperdrive, not what is being pumped into the reality grid that is about to go down, is what I'm hearing. Just say what's coming through, okay? This is not meant to spark fear, by the way. This is part of the message, is whomever you're listening to or whatever messages you're listening to, and I'm sure some of you guys have gotten some of these same messages. Whatever we're about to experience in 2026, we've been preparing for. And even though it might feel like what I was shown earlier, and I'm going to come back into flow in just a moment, but I'm being called to talk about this just for a moment. I was being shown we've been running on concrete, right? And it's been really hard and it's been really rocky, rough, but we at least felt like that was our foundation. Well, now it's like the boing, the boing. Now we're running on this like weird structure that we're not really sure. We're just not really sure yet of where it's leading, of if we're doing it the right way, so on and so forth. But I'm being shown these rocks. I keep being shown like if you're walking on slippery rocks in a riverbed, that's what we're on right now. So it's like this slippery kind of, but they're not hard. It's like they're moving underneath our feet. So it's a very strange time. It's surreal for a lot of us. I'm seeing the Dali, is it Dali? Salvador Dali painting with the clocks that are melting, and I'm seeing the time warp again. So this particular message is to bring you into a higher state of awareness, to help balance out the frequencies of distraction and resistance. We invite you to band together with you. We invite you to go within, but also to see through that which is being distorted. I'm hearing sleight of hand. So I'm seeing card tricks, and it's like a person laying out the cards saying, look here, this is what you have to play with. This is your deck, but they're hiding cards in the deck, or they have, it's just a sleight of hand is what I'm hearing, sleight of hand. And this is a play on words. So let me just pause for a moment. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking up sleight of hand, and basically it's exactly what I thought it was. Basically, fine motor skills used by performing artists in different art forms to entertain or manipulate. So I'm seeing double meaning here. It's entertainment, even though some of the things that we're going to be seeing aren't fun to watch. But how many people watch horror movies? And, or I'm thinking of Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Like there's something having to do with that. Ooh, such a good movie, right? But very sad and based on history. So, close up magic, card magic, stealing, and it's basically used by magicians, and it just keeps talking about entertainment. So, let's kind of dive into that a little bit. So the divisiveness and the tricks that will be laid out for the public to digest and to tune into will be difficult to differentiate between reality and false acuity, play on words. For some of it will be mixed and will bleed together, if you will, or be bled together. So we invite everyone to recognize these have been going on for quite some time, yet this is a skill level that is impressive, to say the least, play on words. And so with this enhanced technology and display of manipulation, we invite you to, again, tune back into your own vibration. Notice when your vibration is shifting based on the shiftiness of what you are perceiving. For it is meant to change your perception. It is meant to draw you in a different direction. It is meant to help you draw conclusions based on misrepresentations of particular reality structures, people that are in, I'm hearing cohorts. Sorry, just in cahoots with all of this. And the irony is that it will come back to, I'm hearing tyranny. Yet this is an old energy, and the old energy cannot be supported by this trickster technology. For you and I, and many, are unweaving, unraveling the old frequency that must be kept in a state of dominance in order to be controlled. So in order to be manipulated, one must be controlled. And in order to be controlled, one must be manipulated, and so on and so forth. Yet these energetic manipulations and distortions that are being projected into the field are not able to fully lock in and hold us in a holding cell any longer unless we choose to stay there. So I'm being shown energetically, like sitting in a cell and the doors actually open, or we can squeeze through the bars, but we're not. There's a reference to that cave referenced, and is it Plato? Anyways, it's like we could leave the cell at any time, but we don't think we can. And I'm seeing people sitting in the cell like, I can't believe I'm in this place. I wish I could get out. They're not even thinking about getting out because that's what they think their reality is. It's very interesting. And I'm being shown like fake bars, I guess, where you're sitting in a cell and that the bars are actually a visual display, but it's a trick. They don't even exist. But people have to be willing to, get out of their heads, I guess, because it's hard to explain, but I think you guys get what I'm putting down here. While this has been going on for a long time, the energy that is supporting this particular frequency is being ramped up because of the heightened sensibility of the human. So the smarter we get, the smarter they get from one perspective. Yet this is not an us versus them. This is not a we versus they. It is all in unity, yet in our own unique and individual way. So we are sharing, if you will, in the frequency, and the staircase that we were speaking of earlier, or the ladder that is moving us through dimensional spaces, is still there. We are being called to move past it, if you will. Again, I'm seeing, look up, look over here, look over there. And we're just like, yeah, okay, I see you. I'm still on this track. Now, this is not to say that some of the resources that we have been reliant upon will not be, in some cases, shaken up. There are some things that we believe we need in order to, okay, I'm hearing multiple things. There are certain things we believe we need in order to be manipulated. There are certain things we believe we need in order to live, but it's not true. Also, from a higher perspective, we invite you to recognize that the human organism is perfectly capable of growth, healing, and expansion all on its own. And while there have been certain resources poured into to keep us poured into an old mold, that we are being invited to break free from the mold by allowing ourselves to see objectively, to see clearly, to see through eyes to see, versus through the perspective or perception of reality that many are currently holding on to, or the perception or current reality that we have been taught to see through. So it's almost like we've been wearing glasses that have a certain picture on it. We take off the glasses and reality looks totally different. So if we can hold our frequency and recognize both and be aware of both, it's going to help us to, I'm being shown a bridge and I'm being shown lateral fusion. Okay. Okay. So this is, you guys, my guides get me to play with words on so many different levels because that's the point. We have all these different levels. So lateral fusion is, I'm going to read this off the AI overview when it comes to spinal surgery. And I was seeing the ladder. And basically, the fusion means that the surgeon permanently joins two or more adjacent vertebrae in a single solid bone to stop painful motion and provide stability. So basically, it's saying that certain instruments are create a path to the spine by moving abdominal organs and muscles aside rather than cutting through them. So this to me, and here I am seeing the bleed through, graft insertion, healing. Over several months, the body's natural healing process causes new bone cells. This is really fascinating, to grow around the graft, fusing the two vertebrae into one solid piece of bone. Wow. So see this as a metaphor of what we're doing. And then I was seeing that. So this has to do with us. It's like, we're not going to cut all of this out. But we are fusing together laterally. This also has to do with versus vertically somehow. Almost like we have to do this first. That's already being done. And there are those of us who are part of this. Again, I'm hearing fusion versus confusion. We then take the remnants that have been cast aside from one perspective, and we begin to reorganize them rather than divide and conquer from another perspective. We begin to take the leftovers, if you will, or that which has been, again, I'm seeing strewn, cast aside, ignored, and we begin to spin the plates. Now, this is a multi-dimensional message. So we invite you to tune into more in order to harness more of what this frequency is trying to share and spell out versus dispel. So we are dispelling certain belief systems. We are spelling out new ways of enhancing our communication. And we are sharing with you as within, so without. So the body is also going through this type of upgrade. And as the body goes through this different differentiation and platelet expansion, so too does our reality. It allows us to hop over certain holes, if you will, that would have pulled us into a different timeline, a gap, a different version of reality. And it allows us to jump over them with efficiency. And because we are now bridging together and utilizing all of our resources, this is also a plan where it's recognizing scientists coming together, mathematicians coming together, this idea that this means that and this means that, and they're not connected, is starting to really be reassessed. And those that are, I did a message on this before talking about how there are people that are like, I've been working on this my whole life and I want to win this award. When in actuality, that's been in an old version of reality, that might have been true. We're not in that version anymore. So we have to let go of that and not resist some of the new information that's coming in that throws, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, but we do want to get rid of as much as we can that's holding us down in an old belief system. And that's kind of what's happening on a collective scale. But this is a lot of stuff going on, you guys. And so we invite all of you to tune in and allow the scales to shift, allow the balance to shift, allow that which needs to shift inside of you to move, to get out of the old frequency of, okay, I'm seeing a lot of things like needing to be, I'm too old for this, needing to be youth. Like I have to be too, I should be younger. I need to see it. It's like, let it all go and just recognize you are where you are now in order to, there's so much like, see, it's like you're part of the ocean. So there is no separation. So, but on your own individual journey, what would you like to experience? This is it. This is the new chapter of your book. So keep creating, but also doing it from a place of I'm hearing inner sanctuary. Is that an old song? That was an old 80s song. This is the message. There is much, there is a lot. And while you are clearing out the old debris, you are also creating the new reality. And so do not get bogged down by the debris that you are about to see. That which is being flung, if you will, through the air, that which is being flung in the form of words and technology, that which is being used to desperately hold on to an energy and frequency that is no longer transmittable between the star seeds, one might say. We invite you to see into your true beingness, your true starseed origins. It does not mean where you came from necessarily, Arcturian versus Pleiadian and all of that. That is an individual part of your template, yes, and it is beautiful. Yet simultaneously, we invite you to see into humanity as a whole, as a group, as a collective of beautiful vibrations, frequencies, and sound that is currently singing out, asking for change. And so we are inviting you to look into each other's eyes, to hold one another, and to hold each other in the fullest possible scale, if you will, of harmony, of peace, of joy, of creativity, of abundance, of support, of compassion, of appreciation, and recognize the more you can hold this space, even if at moments you feel lost in the shuffle, we invite you to reassess, reset moment to moment, and to feel into the moment of truth, of your own inner sanctum, of your own inner temple, and to be in this place of a frequency and vibration of holding that sacred, holding that spaciousness, holding that in appreciation of all that you have been through, of all that you will be moving toward, of all the changes that are about to unfold. And let go of the old hierarchy, of the old, I'm hearing time bands. So it's almost like these bands were like, it's like they're spreading out. And I see people with like one foot on one and one foot in the other, like, whoa, like Elf when he goes up the escalator and he ends up going into the splits because he's doesn't want to leave the ground, but he's going up at the same time. I'm seeing that's happening to people. So don't be afraid to just let it go. And I'm just seeing as that happens, we get kind of pulled up into where we need to be. And then we can find our footing a little bit easier. But it's going to take us to be present moment to moment. So here we flow, guys. There's more. I will share more about these messages later because it was so multidimensional. But to be continued, I hope someone found this helpful. And in love and light, guys. Namaste.